Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunnyside podcast. Today, I am joined by Alex Ludwig. He is the founder of a company called Pluragon IT, and I'm going to let Alex introduce himself. Alex, how are we doing, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you. I hope you are doing great too.
Having a good day. Well, I can't wait to unpack everything about yourself, Alex, and everything that you're doing at Pluragon, because obviously you've had some rapid growth, and I can't wait to kind of unpack it. So could you give us a bit of a summary of what you kind of are doing, who you are, and just a bit of a rundown, please, sir?
Sure, absolutely. So people are going to hear on my accent that I'm not a native speaker. I am from Germany. Moved to Canada in 2019 with my wife and my two kids. I'm
Nice.
in IT for over 20 years. Worked my way up from being an administrator to tech consultant, lots of things around software-defined data centers. Hold a couple of different certifications for VMware. I did larger projects for enterprises like Siemens, virtualizing applications for production environments with 2,500 clients, but on the other side spent weekends with small, medium-sized businesses and installed their environments.
Nice.
The last 5 years in Germany before I moved here, I was department head, IT department head for an e-commerce, e-procurement and individual software company. Had 3 teams in Germany and 1 in Egypt. And we also had our own data center, hosted systems for companies. The data center was ISO 27001 certified, so always very high security standards. One of our customers, for example, was Airbus Defense and Space and Defense. When I moved here, I was still studying, did my MBA, finished my MBA in 2021. Wrote a master thesis about macroeconomics and monetary theory, which has nothing to do with IT, but it's a field that I'm just interested. I even published it as a book. I should have brought one with me, so it's
you should have brought one.
book. But anyway, I started here in Canada working for multiple startups as a VP of IT, but we had the lockdowns, as we all know, so times were uncertain, and I said to my CEO and friend Mark, like, hey, I'm going to take a little bit of the pressure off of you and doing my own thing. So started Pluragon more under the idea of being able to provide C-level executive services on a fractional basis, because we have a lot of small, medium-sized companies here in Nova Scotia. They don't need a CTO or a CIO full-time. So, that worked out quite well. I even incorporated the company in 2022 as a real Canadian on the 1st of July, Canada Day.
Nice.
Yes, sure. Pluragon now in this incorporated state is nearly 4 years old. What happened is the plan was always to grow with the startups that I worked with. And that basically happened, especially over the last 12 to 16 months. One of my oldest employee, the guy who's the longest with me, Ravi, he's with me now for 3 years, nearly 3 years. But everyone else just joined over the last 12 to 16 months. We also grew together 2 companies. One of my friends and business partners, Drew, his focus is more on software development. We worked together on a couple of different projects. Now we are growing everything together into Pluragon IT. And with his team and the people that I hired and so on, we are already at 12, thinking about hiring number 13. And
Nice.
If some of the projects we are working on right now will come through, then I'm pretty sure end of June we are going to be at 15 or 16. So
wow, exciting.
Pluragon. That's us.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Well, I've got a few questions on that. First of all, so you said that you work with startups. Is that exactly who you work with, like any startup?
I kind of
Or is it just SMBs?
I kind of came into that because I was a VP of IT for a couple of startups. And the guy I worked with, Mark, and he's a fantastic entrepreneur. He's also just a great human being.
Yeah.
And he connected me with other startups, and he connected me with other entrepreneurs. And maybe this was also some sort of a inflection point. It was kind of infected me with, hey, you should also start creating your own thing. And as I said, the idea was always to grow with those startups. And One of my customers where I can also talk openly about it, for example, is Oberland AgriScience. We have a whole case study with them. They have built the first buck farm in Nova Scotia. So we are talking about black soldier flies. We are talking about the larvae from those black soldier flies that have a very high protein content, and they eat organic waste, pre-consumer organic waste. It's a 108,000 square foot building, and we have planned their data center, remote data center, their infrastructure, network infrastructure. We have taken care of the communication between the IT systems and the OT systems, so the shop floor, the cybersecurity, and so on. I'm still fractionally the head of IT, and yeah, it was a great project. Also helped us to grow together with Oberland, and yeah, we have a couple of those examples, and now we are known more and more here in Halifax in the HRM and getting more and more customers.
That's great. So the main kind of target market that you work with is startups, but you would kind of tailor to any kind of SMB.
Yeah, startups. What do we define as a startup? I think most of the really small startups, kind of the one-person startups, two-person startups, they might only need us to help them with a basic setup. We like to now aim for and target those startups that are maybe at 30, 40 people and now are really on a growth trajectory. Yeah. Because most of them before, like, we have this IT guy. And I'm like, you cannot have an IT guy when you're 25, 30 people. You want to have an IT team. You want to have service level agreements. You want to have different people with different skill levels, with different fields of expertise. Because this one IT guy, I'm going to bring this here because I always bring this example, and people who know me know that I kind of always use that. You would not ask your dentist to do a knee surgery. Both work in the medical field. Both are doctors. So it's the same in IT. The field is just so wide, so many different levels in IT right now that you need to have a team with different levels of expertise that help you, with your IT needs.
That makes complete sense. So obviously, when I'm thinking of a startup, I'm thinking like 3 people, like some little unicorn tech company. But you mean kind of like obviously that they're on the way to being kind of established. 30, 40 people is enough to go off. So what is the actual outcome of them partnering with you then? So you said that they can't have an IT guy, like they need a team, they need someone, they need SLAs. Talk to me around what you're actually delivering and what that is in regards to outcomes and tangible aspects for the client. Sure.
Maybe I start first with a little bit of history where our name comes from, Pluragon. I'm a long-time sci-fi fan. You would even see the Enterprise somewhere here on the wall. When you look at our logo, you see that it is a tesseract. It is a hypercube, so a multi-dimensional cube. This is how I started thinking about the name, like from an octagon to a hexagon to a multigon to a plurigon. Plurigon was already taken. Wrote my wife, made a spelling mistake, called it Pluragon. I'm like, name is awesome, love it. That's why also the subline technology in every dimension, because there is no dimension in your business that works without IT. No, there is no level anymore that works without IT. Even if, you have cleaners or anyone else, they need to track their hours as well online, or they need to log in when they start working and need to log out, when their shift is done. Stuff like that. So technology in every dimension, that's why we are not framing us or say we are an MSP, because an MSP is purely reactive. You have X amount of workstations, you sign up, I install an antivirus, and that's pretty much it. The idea was still that we come in and we partner with this company. So we try to understand, what is your business, what is your main IP, what is your plan for the next year, 3 years, 5 years, and so on, and we become your partner. We become your partner in your journey, and we help you to create your roadmap that fits to your business roadmap over the next years. How can we support you with technology? And that's why we also, develop different concepts, and we can talk about this. For example, the CCDM concept, and how we come in, and we are not just providing IT. We also have other partners we can pull in whenever they are needed. So we bring more value than just the IT.
Yeah. Which makes sense. So you would actually sit down with the prospect or the client and say, these are your business goals. Like, what can we do? Like every step along the way. Is that basically what you said?
I kind of even become, part of the leadership team. Unfortunately, still up to today, many companies here do not have a CIO or CTO in their leadership team. Everybody's talking about AI and technology and cloud computing and so on. And then I'm like, do you have anyone leading this? Oh no, we have this IT guy. I'm like, okay, so you have no strategy in what you're going to do. You have no strategy in terms of IT security. So your people just take whatever they find and throw it into OpenAI, ChatGPT, and Claude and so on, because you don't even have, an AI usage policy or anything. You need to have someone who's really sitting together with you and synchronizing your IT technology strategy with your business.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm just thinking, like, if I'm thinking as like a business owner who obviously is not a technical person, who doesn't really care about technology, they just don't want to get breached. They don't really like. What is the actual difference of having a strategy in place compared to just having an IT guy? Like, what actually does the strategy consist of?
Yeah. So let's take Oberland as an example, because as I said, I can talk openly about this in a sense. When you build a manufacturing environment, you have to ask yourself, what technology do I have on the shop floor? Mm-hmm. What does need to communicate with some sort of servers? What are the requirements for those servers? Do they need to communicate in real time? How do I set them up in a secure way so that the communication only happens, between the systems where the communication should happen? Is there a failover capacity that I might also need in the network? So building a high available firewall setup, building a high available core switch setup, and so on. And then it's about, okay, what are your other needs in the business? Oh, you need a QA system. Which QA system are we going to use? Maybe one that is also talking with your MRP or ERP system so that data is being synchronized. Okay, what else do you want? Oh, you want to have real-time visualization of your data. Then we need to make sure that you get data from those OT PLC systems into some sort of a data collection pool where we can visualize this. And it's maybe another requirement not to have this data visualized. You also want to use that data later on for data analysis against AI, machine learning, and so on. So what other data do we need to collect there? Also from the MRP and the MRP ERP system, also from your QA system. Oh, you have sensors as well? Good. How do we get this data in? So we are really sitting together and drawing out this picture for someone and creating this roadmap. While if you have this IT guy, it's more like antivirus, installation on the computers, having a remote management software maybe, and so on, being reactive if something fails, but there is no strategy planning behind it.
That makes complete sense. Like, actually does make complete sense. So how easy is it to explain that to your clients, do you think? Like, or to the prospects, like, or the people that do say, oh no, we've got an IT guy, like, leave me alone. Like, how do you kind of say that to them?
Yeah, we also take care of the day-to-day stuff of everyone. So the first question that comes from my side with this IT guy is, what do you do if this guy gets sick? What if he gets hit by a bus tomorrow?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So you want to have a team behind it that has a knowledge base, that has a ticketing system, that really answers the phone, where you have a service level agreement with them, that we are answering in X amount of hours to your request. If something goes really bad, there is a team of experts behind it. As I mentioned before, we have multiple doctors, so to say. We have, multiple people who are experts in virtualization, in firewalls, in networking, in Windows servers, in Linux servers, and so on. So you have a team of people and not just this one person that is, for sure, somewhat limited, with their knowledge. And the other thing is, there is expertise behind it. Like, I worked so long in manufacturing, mostly electronics manufacturing, but now the team also collected more and more expertise and experience in manufacturing and enterprises. So when we come in, we bring all this knowledge and this experience with us, plus the concepts where this one IT guy is not going to cut it.
Yeah. And that makes complete sense when you put it like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally like light and day, isn't it? At what point do businesses, like in regards to, so if you're a startup and then you're growing in headcount, at what point do you think they need to pivot from the IT guy to an actual MSP and have a team and have a strategy in place?
I would say once you cross maybe the 10 to 11 people, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 That's,
You know, we can always adapt the contracts that we have so that it's not a huge cost factor for you when you start with us, and then you can add on to these contracts over time. So, yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, well, I appreciate you sharing that. I want to go into more business ownership and kind of what's your growth and your experience and what's kind of led to Pluragon's success. I mean, my first question is, what could you take from your previous, like what did the Siemens when you used to work there and do the stuff for them? Like, what kind of lessons did you take from them that you've applied into your business now, and how has some of that experience kind of helped you?
Everything trickles down from the top. And every business is people business. So you always, how to say that? If I come into the office and I'm in a bad mood, it trickles down to the employees. If I treat employees disrespectful, it trickles down. So the team leads will, treat their but they're kind of members of their team the same way. So it really very often comes down to the personality kind of, and to how the CEO treats the people, the leadership team, the energy you bring in, and then I try to hire the same way the people. They need to fit in from a personality perspective. Sure, you cannot hire someone who has absolutely zero experience in this field where you want to hire, but I rather take someone who has maybe 60% or 70%, and I can teach the rest of the skills that fits into the team, that fits with their personality, than getting the 100% expert where I know that's going to screw up the whole team, if I get this person in. So that's one thing. And the other thing, what I meant is people business. We just talked about this yesterday with some potential prospects and also customers right now. I think one of the most undervalued skill is being easy to work with, just that. So you need to connect right with the people that are your customers. You need to have a good communication going, because things will go wrong. It doesn't matter with who you work with. It really absolutely doesn't matter. There will be things that go wrong. It's just important to catch it early, to get it out of the way pretty quick, pretty fast, and to find always a solution that creates a win-win situation for both sides and that has a good outcome for both sides, and everybody can live with it. So.
I think that's really good advice for any business, because there's always stuff nothing goes to plan, does it? Exactly. In any realm of life. Yeah, and it's just how you deal with it.
Everybody has a plan until they got punched in the face. That's
it. Yeah, absolutely. which makes complete sense. Okay, so I've actually heard that as well. Like, it trickles down. I can't remember what somebody said. Fish rots from their head down or head up.
Exactly.
Yeah, something like that. Obviously saying something similar to what you're saying. So let's talk about hiring and culture then. So you're saying around hiring, like, what do you look for when you try and hire, maybe in the leadership positions or in the more advanced positions, that's actually going to be detrimental to the business's success? What are you looking for? What attributes?
We, maybe that's a little bit also a background story. We are following an approach here that is called traction. I don't know if you heard about this book. It's a EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. I forgot the name. Gino Wickman, I think, who wrote this book. Okay. It's out on the market for many, many years. And it's a really great approach. It's a great approach to structure your business, to get the first right hires and so on. And one part of this traction playbook is create a VTO, which is a Vision Traction Organizer. So we have a one-pager that says exactly what the company stands for, what are our goals for this year, what are the goals for the next 3 years, what is our vision, what is our marketing approach, and so on. So everybody is on the same page. Another thing that you are doing pretty early in the business is you create your core values. So we did this. I even have the core values on the wall.
Okay.
In a little bit of short form, because the first core value is integrity and no BS. I'm writing this out, this BS, even in our employee handbook with the core values. And it's about being direct, respectful, and honest. And those are core values that everybody has to agree with if they want to work in the company. And that's the traits I'm looking for. And this is what I try to find out in the first conversations that we have, if this fits. You never know if it really plays out this way, but you get a feeling also when you go with this person through the core values within the first conversations. But yeah, you never know. So what did Gary Vaynerchuk say? Hiring is guessing, firing is knowing.
That's interesting. Do you feel like you can teach your values, or do you feel like they've either got it or they haven't?
Yeah. We had a couple of situations where I pointed out the core values again, why they are important, and how we need to use the core values not just internally, but also externally to the customer. So one core value that we also have is be authentic. I'm like, you cannot go out there to the customer and just not be the person that you are. If you try to kind of make something up, they see this, they feel this, and so on. Better be honest. That's it. If there is a situation and you cannot give the customer an answer to it, just tell them like, sorry, not my field of expertise, but I'm going to look it up for you and I'm going to find out. And every customer is going to say, hey, that's great. It's good that you were honest about it. You said kind of, I don't know this right now, but you also said, I'm taking responsibility for it. So I'm going to find out for you, and we will find a solution for it. So that's just it.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think that's key. Obviously, still on hiring. What have been some of the hires that have been really, really critical? Obviously, you're at 12 people now. What have been some of the hires, without naming names, and more job titles that are like, okay, like this is what I needed?
Yeah, my director of operations, for example.
Okay.
So that's my integrator. He's taking care of the day-to-day stuff, the scheduling of the people, tracking the projects, tracking the to-dos. So that's a role that is going to grow into the COO role, which is, the operations, the daily things, the day-to-day stuff. And he's doing a great job with that. The other thing, sure, we are a tech company, so my director of technology, so he is setting the tone for the strategy, which technology are we going to use within the company, externally, what do we use for the customers, how do we integrate it? So he's also doing a great job of that. And then, now that we have software development, my friend and business partner, as a director of software development, he's just great, in what he does. He has more experience in business than I have, and it's with all of these people, I can play fire and forget. So I can just hand things over, and it's getting done. So and they just come to me like, hey, how do you want this to get this done? And that's great.
Which is how it should be. I mean, my question on that is like, what should like a day-to-day look like for you? I mean, I presume that you might have some sort of patterns in the week, or is it completely random, or like what are you spending your time on most of the time?
Oh, sorry, I just apologize. So by being the fractional head of IT for one of the companies, there is some sort of structure. There is some sort of structure of these regular meetings with the customers that we have. The regular internal meetings that we have based on the traction approach, that is also something that comes up every week or every 2 weeks. Pluragon is my own company, but we started another company a year ago, which is called Flexible C-Suite, where I do
Okay.
the same thing what I do at Pluragon. Fractional CTO, CIO services, but at Flexible C-Suite, we have a whole team of seasoned, experienced C-level leaders. So there we have a CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Financial Officer, and so on. So we can come in with Flexible C-Suite and not just do IT. We can help all kinds of companies who are maybe in a growth phase, maybe in a transition phase, in whatever phase they are, they think they need some C-level leadership. So that's also one thing that comes up every week with meetings on this side. The rest for me is really business development. Thinking about the next steps in the business, thinking about the next growth in the business. At the moment, we are building our AI team, our AI department. So how can we bring this out to the customers? What is our approach to the customers? Also with my biz staff and marketing team, we developed a calendar for the whole year. What events we're going to do, what events we're going to have. For example, next week we're going to have an event on the 30th about the start of our CCCS, so the Competency Center for Cybersecurity. So we are talking with customers about cybersecurity. We are talking about what are, common threats. What is kind of a typical attack? What does a typical phishing email look like? And then we are talking about our packages that we can implement for them on different levels of cybersecurity, or how we could help with HIPAA compliance. Next month, or HIPAA or PCI, or all of those compliance. And next month, we're going to have an event which we call, don't know if we're going to call it this way, but that's kind of the working title at the moment is AI for Starters. So one of my employees, she's going to do a presentation about the different AI platforms we have out there, how do they integrate, advantages, disadvantages, which is, I know, difficult because you might talk about it this week and next week it looks different because they deployed a new model or anything. It's moving so fast, but I mean, you just have to take the current state of things and try to kind of explain to the customers what the different things are, because everybody's talking about AI, but the moment you go a little bit deeper, people are confused, hesitant, or using multiple different subscriptions, do not streamline it, pay a lot of money for this, and so on. Maybe also create security issues. So yeah, that's kind of my day-to-day between all of those meetings and the customers. And we are also working on an app which we started 2 years ago. There was a little bit of interruption until we got the funding in, but the app is hopefully going to be deployed to the market in, I would say, end of Q2. It's going to help you saving with your groceries, if your grocery purchases. Yeah. We are also working on another platform, which I hired an external developer. I just paused this for now, but I hopefully can bring this to the market in Q3 or Q4 this year. And besides that, I also kind of came together with an external group where we are thinking about providing AI services to different government agencies or departments. So there are regular meetings with those people as well. So you see my calendar is...
Yeah, you've got your fingers in a lot of pies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Nice. So are you still doing the sales? Are you still in founder-led sales, and you're still doing all of that side of the biz?
There will never be a better person in the business than the CEO for sales.
I agree.
At the moment, I'm still doing this. I'm getting to a point now where one of the next hires before we hit the 20 people is going to be a salesperson. So someone who really speaks 24/7 Pluragon and is going out there. And maybe I should not name it a salesperson. Maybe it's more, what is the right word for this? Maybe a relationship manager. So someone who's also going out to the current customers that we have that might not have me or anyone else from the team on regular meetings. So we are losing a little bit touch with them so that we can have this person going out, like talking about our newest products or our newest developments and so on, and doing that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. I'd like to touch a little bit on marketing and how you position yourself in the market. I know that you said you had a marketing team and stuff like that. So how are they kind of positioning themselves in the market? How are they kind of getting in front of new prospects?
Yeah, we are, shifting this at the moment. What I said, we are an MTP, a managed technology partner, not an MSP, and this is how we position ourselves also on the web page. As I said before, we help you with your whole tech stack in your business. This is how we position ourselves. Yes, and we also say MSP is part of that. What we do is, sure, we do a lot of cold outreach over LinkedIn. Did a lot of fun stuff there, which even led to a potential customer in the future in Nashville. So we will grow further into the US market. We will also grow further westwards in Canada. What we do here right now is we build the foundation of Pluragon. You cannot build a 20-story building on a 4-inch slab. So we need to build the foundation here first. We need to have the base team here first. We need to have our knowledge base, our kind of concepts and so on, really proven to the market and set up until we have the freedom of being able to have the time to expand it. So yeah, we've done a lot on LinkedIn outreach. We are doing a lot of email outreach, but the thing is how Nova Scotia works, and I think how every business works, again, people business, you need to know people who recommend you, kind of, okay, we loved working with Pluragon, we loved working with Alex and the team and so on, you should reach out to them. This is just how most of it works. We even do, where do I have this? Let me just grab this one here. Everybody gets flooded at the moment with emails every day. Hey, we have this service, we have this service. We do things even, we go a little bit old school. We create flyers.
Nice.
I drive out to a couple of customers, potential customers around the office and say, hi, I'm Alex, CEO of Pluragon. Here's a flyer for an event next week. Maybe you want to join. Hopefully I get a couple of people this way into our CRM. So next time that invite, that outreach goes out automatically. So yeah, that's how it works.
Nice. Well, one more question before we wrap up, because I appreciate sharing that, is in order to get to the next level, what do you think has to kind of be tweaked or add or take away inside of the business, do you think?
I need to make sure that I'm not the bottleneck. That's the next thing. So I need to hire, for example, a project manager that is really just taking the projects that I come up with. I just give them my idea of the project and then I let them run. Because my integrator, my COO or director of operations, he should not also lead the projects. This should be kind of separate. We need to have a couple of more senior ops people that we need to get in. We need to have, developers, but we are also integrating more and more AI into our daily software development routines. But still, we will grow on the dev team as well. And then we are hitting a point where we need to hire people that kind of deal with the periphery. So I need to have someone for office administration that can also help with preparing invoices, receipts, and stuff like this for our bookkeeper. That is maybe helping with procurement. Because we are also reselling licenses, we are reselling hardware, software, everything to customers as well. At one point in time, I will need to have someone for HR. That might be a little bit further down the road. Once we hit, let's say, 25 people, then we will also need a at least fractional CFO dealing with all of the finances and projection and budgeting and stuff. So yeah,
exciting. That is very exciting. I think we should have another catch up in a year or so from now just to see how you're getting on, because I feel like you're on a bit of a rocket up to the moon right now, Alex. But anyways, thank you for coming onto the podcast. If the audience are wondering where can I find Alex, where can we find Pluragon, where can they get in touch with you, sir?
Sure. Yeah, we are here in Nova Scotia, in Halifax, or Dartmouth, better to say. When I say Halifax, most people like. And just go to pluragon.com, pluragon.com, but I'm pretty sure Finn is going to post the link somewhere.
In the descriptions.
You can also find me on LinkedIn under Alex Ludwig. And yeah, for now, Nova Scotia, in the future,
everywhere.
Multi-different places.
Yeah, nice.
Multi-dimensional places, yes.
Absolutely. You're going to be all over the globe, aren't you? Which is great. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Alex. I appreciate you. I've learned a lot. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure. It was fun.
No worries, sir.